Welcome everybody to today's third ever episode of MSP Minds Live interactive panel with IT pros Dave Long and James Clowes. Really excited to introduce you guys to the community. My name is Ari. I'm the lead evangelist at Atera. Joined with me is none other than Yasmin Simmons. Yasmin, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ari. Thank you. Very happy to be here. And thank you everyone that joined today.
All right, very excited. Also, Yasmin herself is an IT pro genius, so she's got a lot to share. Excited to hear what you have to say. James, how are you and what time is it where you're at?
We just passed 2 a.m. It's a bit early, but
and you're a rock star.
I'm Adam.
You're a rock star. Do you sleep?
I may have had a little kip this afternoon, so I might be up until 5, 6 a.m. and might have a little sleep then. We'll see.
Very impressive. And Dave Long from the other side of the globe. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just made a deal with my kids to hopefully leave me in peace for the next hour. And if they do, they get to have pizza for lunch. So we'll see how that goes.
That's a deal. If we can all get that deal, I'm just saying, I'll speak for myself, I'm in. So we got people from all over the world joining us. I think we had over 500, close to 600 registrants. So we got a lot to share. Just before we get started, would love, it's just a fun thing to do. We got people from all over the world, IT pros. Guys, let us know who you are, where you're calling in from, what you're excited to learn about as we're about to cover what we're going to cover. And first and foremost, Alex Mandry, New York is in the house. Yes, it is, Alex. Welcome. So why are we doing this? We're doing this to help you streamline and grow your MSP business, whether it's in New York or Australia or Connecticut or Tel Aviv or Calgary, Brian McClelland, I hope I'm saying that right, or the Netherlands. I mean, this is pretty cool. Guys, people are showing up from all over planet Earth to hear what you got to say. So here's what we're going to cover, why automation is needed in an MSP business. Also how automation increases revenue. We got people from Florida, Olympia, Washington, Australia, how to turn fear into love of automation, which is a big one because as Yasmin will share, as everybody's going to share, that it's, there's a lot of fear, but it's actually an imposed fear because there's nothing to be afraid about when it comes to automation. It's actually easier than you think, which is why you're going to learn how to easily get started with automation. You're going to get James and Dave's toolbox as well as Yasmin's and live Q&A at the end. So without further ado, James, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it's like to be someone who doesn't sleep at night?
Yeah, certainly. Look, I started out in men's fashion retail, came from sales, got into IT about a decade ago, started as a first level help desk technician at an MSP, rose through the ranks to SDM, where we started implementing automation, sort of going back about 5 years. And then I shifted from MSP or external IT to internal IT, where I'm the IT manager for a group of companies, including Dynamic Bradview Roofing, which is a roofing company here in Australia, and also Oracle, which is an offshoring business which operates out of India and Australia. So, covered a broad range of industries, and I guess my skill set's quite diverse.
Excited to hear what you got to share.
That's me in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell. We could probably go on and on. You got a lot of experience, got a lot of secrets to share that apparently are not so secret. We hear from you and Dave. You guys are an open book. Thanks for sharing, taking the time. Dave, who are you? What do you have to share? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your children.
Yes. Yeah, so I've been working in IT for pretty close to 15 years now. The majority of that time I spent actually as a software developer, working as a consultant web designer and developer, as well as working for a SaaS company, helping them launch their business. So for the past 5 years, actually, I realized it's 6 years now, I've been working with Cage Data as their director of operations, and we are a Connecticut-based MSP. We work with businesses all throughout Connecticut and New England, helping them with their productivity and their security. And then outside of that, we also do consulting with other companies looking to make the shift from break fix to managed service provider, and help them with their automation strategies and their general productivity strategies. And yeah, as I mentioned, I've got 2 kids here at home with me, 6-year-old that starts first grade again tomorrow, and my 4-year-old who's probably playing a Lego game right now downstairs. So it's never stop moving here in Connecticut.
Always a smart move to play Lego in the morning. It's actually a productivity secret. So would love to get started. Can you guys share a little bit about why automation? Why are we talking about this? Why is this such a big hot topic? Over 530 people are interested to hear what you guys have to say. Why is automation so important for internal ITs and MSPs?
Yeah, look, I guess I'll start because internal IT is there first. Sorry, Dave. And I guess, look, for me, it's all about productivity, cost saving, and it's the same for an MSP, as Dave will sort of reiterate here. They're the 2 big factors. If you can increase your productivity by not having to handle repetitive tasks day in, day out, then that's money in the bank, regardless. In terms of internal IT, the less I'm having to log into a user system, it frees me up for the bigger things like, rolling out upgrades, all those sorts of things, the big things. Plus, if you're automating things, that's less resources which I have to hire, which means more money in the bank to spend on things, computer upgrades, PC refreshes, all the rest of it. Dave, I'll probably add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, automation as an MSP is very similar to internal IT. It's all about increasing your productivity. So one of the most important things as you shift from break fix IT services into MSP is how many systems can I manage as me, a single person? And if I'm managing them all as a single object, then not that many. But if we start looking at systems as a group instead, and automate our policies, automate our procedures across an entire client of systems, then suddenly I'm far more productive. I'm able to get a lot more work done in a day. And the other side of that is with more and more security attacks coming out every single day. We have the ISO standards, the NIST group here in the US that's releasing new practices. We've got HIPAA, PCI, all those sorts of things are policies that ultimately we can automate the implementation. And once we do that, suddenly onboarding new clients and getting them into compliance with those standards becomes that much easier.
And look, just to add to that, you've got that sort of sounds a bit scary there, what Dave said at the end. But I guess for people new to this, it's as easy as starting with automating things like Windows updates, so you're not manually patching, which is so simple to do in Atera. So, if you're not sure where to start, that's a great starting point right there.
Speaking of,
just going to add on what you guys said, which is 100% true. It's also a great way to be proactive with your customers, to make sure you're on top of your game all the time, when it's automated, when things are scheduled, when you don't have to make sure that someone remembers to check where you're standing or to do something manually. It's a great way to stay on top of your game, to show your customers what they're paying for, what you're doing, and to always be on time, 100% done, and to know the status of everything. So, I mean, that's another great bonus to automating things.
I'm sold. Can't wait to hear more. So you guys want to tell us a little bit about how you got started with automation? I know you guys each have different backgrounds.
Yeah, so as I said, my background is predominantly in software development. So my got started with automation just came from all the practices we had when I was working in, especially in a startup company where we had to automate our release processes and things like that. And so coming over to Cage Data as an MSP, it was sort of a natural jump for me. I've always been really systems oriented, and yeah, so I got started predominantly on scripting out different things. And, you know, anybody in the Facebook group will know that I live in the scripting world. So yeah, I know, James, you're quite different from me in that respect.
I'm the polar opposite, you would say, Dave.
Why you guys work so well together?
I'm not a coder. Never have been. I don't get coding at all. I get the basics of it, but that's about where my experience ends with it. I'm not to say I don't use scripts. I do use them. You know, I use Google to find them. You know, I look for people like Dave who've done the hard work for me.
Which is what's amazing about this.
It is, and there's a good community. Like IT people, we share our work. You know, like, you know, Ari said at the start, we're open books, and I always will be, because there's no point hoarding knowledge when we can share it around. So yeah, certainly that's where I go. You know, Google. But where I got started was basic things like patching, restarting services. You know, set up a trigger, an alert. You know, and if it fires off, you run a script to net stop, net start. So I definitely started in the basics, and it just frees me up to do, you know, more of the tasks which I really need to be focusing on, as opposed to restarting a service on a server, you know, once a week.
So maybe, James, maybe you can also tell us a little bit about the fact that you're not a coder, you're not a software developer. What's your mindset around automation? Is it something to be afraid of? Is it something that's manageable, easy, approachable? How would you approach the mindset around automation?
Look, I guess where it started for me back when I was at an MSP, we had a really big push to get into automation, and we were thinking, oh, let's automate the creation of AD users remotely. You know, we'll script it, we'll do all this. But what we found was we were so busy doing break fix that we never actually got to that automation point. And so there was a lot of pressure there in terms of ticket numbers and resourcing. But I think what we tried to do was to go too far down that rabbit hole. If we just started at the start with things like patching, which we eventually got to, you know, and restarting of services and all those basic things, that freed us up enough to then look at the more complex automations that you can run. And that's the sort of stuff Dave's into, because I know he can automate things like AD user creation and all that sort of stuff.
What
Dave?
I see from a lot of our customers, you know, in the Facebook group, the customers that I speak to directly, a lot of them are scared to get started because maybe they don't have enough knowledge, enough experience, and they just don't know where to start. So as you said, you look online, you speak to people that have got more experience and done this research, and they're willing to share their knowledge, which I think is amazing. We've got our personal Atera Facebook community, but you've got Stack Overflow, Google, all these forums, which are great. You can get loads of information there. And I mean, scripting is one of the tools that a lot of people don't feel comfortable with, which is fine. But then there's a lot of tools that have a GUI that you can just use, that you can set up. And I think that might be a great way to start. Not with scripts, but with tools that are there and you can just use them and then slowly work your way up from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the hard things for me to get over as a scripter is, you know, the classic hit by the bus scenario. You know, the truth is, even at Cage Data, I'm the only one with a background in software. And if I got hit by the bus, you know, all of the scripts that I've written and put in place, they'll stay there for a while, but eventually they'll die out because there's no one that can maintain that. But leveraging the GUI tools, especially the ones in Atera, to offload a lot of those tasks, like, you know, like what James mentioned with installing updates, or, you know, I love the new Chocolatey implementation where with a few clicks of the mouse, I can install software across, you know, all my clients. I just did it with the new Microsoft Edge the other day. I don't have to write any code for it. And if I disappear one day, you know, somebody else can come and take that over and continue to maintain it, add new software to it, things like that. And it's something that I have to make an effort to actually use more, is thinking towards other people, who's going to be the next person who maintains this.
And we're going to get
true for everything.
Sorry, Yasmin?
I was saying that's true for everything, to make sure you've got backup. I'm not talking about the bad scenario of getting hit by a bus, but maybe a more positive one.
And so we're gonna get learning with step by step, and maybe. But just before we learn the step by step practical things, do you each want to share a little bit about how automation has increased your revenue? And also, James has a really dramatic story that happened recently that would, I think, be inspired by, in terms of how much.
Yeah, look, I guess, everyone always plans for that worst case scenario. And we have been through the worst case scenario twice over this year, pretty much. So back in February, I think it was March, our head office burnt to the ground completely. Nothing left. All the data rack exploded. If you've never seen a data rack explode, it's pretty amazing to see. But yeah, look, we lost everything, and we had to rebuild. And certainly a huge part of that rebuild came from Atera. At the end of the day, it's a simple matter of installing the agent, and I quite literally ran around all of our new temporary PCs, installed it on all of them, and then remotely pushed software, updated them, got them ready for staff. And I had to do that twice over because they were only loan PCs. And then 2 weeks later, COVID shutdown started in Australia. So, we had to rebuild an entire office into this tiny room, and then we all had to disperse for work from home whilst building a new office. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster year. Don't think it would have been as easy as it's been difficult, but it was simplified thanks to tools like Atera and knowing how to do things like automate tasks, really. But onto the bullet point, how automation increases revenue. Dave's probably got more of an idea about it from an MSP point of view, but as I said, for me, it's not so much increasing revenue, but lowering costs, which then, gives me more to spend in my IT budget, which I don't really have a budget for. I pretty much get whatever I want, but, I like to keep my own costs down because then I know I'm adding to the company's bottom line there anyway. So, Dave, I'll let you.
Yeah, it's, certainly,
MSP.
Certainly from, internal IT perspective, it's reducing costs for us MSPs. It's about, used to have a coworker who would say it's about buying us all yachts so that we can go out and have yacht wars together. So, I mean, from
Is that what happens over the weekends? Is that what you guys are doing? Yacht
God,
wars?
I wish. So, one of the biggest things is automation, as I said, helps you to shift from break fix into managed services. One of the things as we were making that shift, it was always a discussion, how much do I charge for automating this piece? Because, I got to be able to charge hours for it. Now that we've started to shift contracts towards, sort of the all-you-can-eat managed service model, we don't have to have that discussion because it's already built in that, similar to internal IT, if I can reduce my general time that I'm spending on stuff, that's increasing how much more revenue I can bring in. And especially with Atera, where the licensing is by the technician. If I can have technicians manage more systems, then I can manage more clients without added expenses. So, that's a really big piece of it. But the also huge piece is being able to have better relationships with my clients. For one, I've got more time that I can, give a client a call and say, hey, let's go grab coffee, talk about what you guys are looking at for the next quarter and all that kind of stuff, because systems are just running on their own. And if, the example, if a service stops, I can count on Atera to just start that service back up for me. And then the other side of it that helps to increase revenue is being able to show reports to my clients to show what we're doing. Whether, I've got some clients that we send them the auditor report every month. And sometimes it shows great information. All their systems are patched. Disks aren't full. Antivirus Office is installed and updated. Sometimes it doesn't show, as great information. And in that case, it keeps us honest where we can own up to it and go back around, give it a little more attention over the next month, and then give them a better report the following month. But having that back and forth with clients is huge for continuing to build relationship and build up revenue, because the best client you can ever have is the client you've had for 20 years.
I love what you said there about managing a lot more devices, and then if you do automate, you've set something up for one customer, one client, you could just duplicate it and use it on your other customers, which is why automation is great, because if you're doing the same actions on different customers, not only on more than one device for the same customer, it's just a click of a button, and that saves you so much time. It allows you to bring a lot more customers and just get things done much quicker.
And just to add to what Dave said there about the reporting, everyone should be running their auditor reports, punch them out. And I can tell you now, as internal IT, I want to see those reports. If you were managing my business, I'd want to see them, regardless of whether they're good or bad. And back in the MSP days, we used to send them through. No hiding, no fudging the truth. You send them through as is, because even though they could be bad, there could still be sales opportunities there. And it's easy wins, and that's the salesman in me speaking. But you turn those negatives into positives, and if you sell a PC refresh of a couple of hundred PCs and during the process, so be it. But with the reports, make sure you start automating them, get them sent out to you every month.
It's a big concern that I heard from a lot of MSPs, that big question that they get from clients is, what do you do all day? What are we paying you for? And so the automation reports is like a simple solution. So even learning how to do that is worth your time. And love, Dave, what you said about the relationships as well. So I think everybody here is absolutely sold on learning how to master automation, the easy way, the simple way, the fun way. So start us off. What is a step-by-step how to get started with automation? And what are some easy tools to get started with automation?
Yeah, so I think the first step is go check out the blog post that we just finished publishing, I think, part 3 in the Atera blog on how to get started with PowerShell. But beyond that, take a look especially at thresholds and IT automation profiles in the Atera admin. One of the first ones that we implemented when we were implementing automation at Cage Data was what's commonly called self-healing scripts. So nobody wants to admit it, but we all have servers that are running some legacy application that'll just crash every Monday or something like that. Don't know why. We've tried fixing it. Yeah. But it's super easy to just create a script that, like James said before, calls netstop whatever, netstart whatever. And suddenly that service that you have to log into a server for every Monday to fix is just fixing itself. Some people, that's a workaround, a temporary hotfix, but at least it's a hotfix that's in place so you can focus on bigger and better things. So start in your threshold profiles and take a look at those. Take a look at what servers you have, what you're spending the most time on, and see if it's a checkbox that you can click in Atera, or if it's a really simple script. If it's not, post on the Facebook group, and me or somebody else who's awesome in that group will respond.
Not me, because I can't code. So don't look to me. Yeah, look, I guess Dave pretty much summed it up. The simple things you can do, the easy wins. Look at your ticket queues. Where are you getting all your tickets from? What are they for? Are you doing 50 password resets a month? That's where look for the problems, and can you solve it with automation, and be real about it. Don't sit there and think you're going to be able to write some amazing script if you've never coded before. That's where you lean on the tools you've got. Facebook group, Google, PowerShell gallery, all those sorts of things.
Or even the Atera shared script library now. there's a ton of scripts in there for tasks that you're already doing every single day. So I just looked, there's 193 scripts that you can make use of in there now.
To be exact,
one the other day.
93. That's not something like yes. That's the exact number.
I've added a whole lot more that should be available next week, hopefully.
We're going to pass 200 by next week, guys. Pay close attention. This thing is going fast. So awesome. James, what you want to share a little bit about inside your non-secret toolbox?
Yeah, certainly. Look, obviously number one's Atera. There's already automation options built in straight out of the box. Patching was the first thing I set up. Saved me time, saved me a lot of money, and everything runs up to date, get the reports. Second thing I use is TeamViewer. That's just my personal preference for remote support for when I do need to jump in. The tool I never had, and now I've got it, I never want to let go of it, Chocolatey. Like Dave said, he installed Microsoft Edge the other day, the new one. I deployed that in 30 seconds to our staff. We got 250 staff between Australia and overseas, and I did everyone at once. I didn't even tell them it was happening. It just went out over lunch, and that was it. It was done. It was brilliant. I love it. And number 4 is...
seconds is in between a bite. It's not even lunch.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's great. And of course, now Chocolatey updates them all too, and it keeps them all up to date, which is even better. And then my most used scripts. So I've got a script which I got from I found it online. It was written a couple of years ago, but it's called Kate, C-A-T-E, clean all temporary files, etc. And I use that when a disk alert fires off, and it just runs. It's a PowerShell script, and it empties out everything that's temporary in a Windows 10 PC. We only run Windows 10, so it's a great little script. One I stole from the Atera shared script library the other day, which I didn't know I needed, and I'm glad I found it, and that is just a simple reg change to OST file sizes for Outlook. Our mailboxes are all massive in my company, and most people have got 5, 6 of them attached to their Outlook profile. So 50 gig doesn't last me very long, and that's at 3 months. So they all run 150 gig OSTs, and it's simply a matter of selecting all my endpoints and running the script. So they're my favorites at the moment. I got a few others there that I run, but Dave's probably got better scripts than that.
I mean, I'd never heard of Kate until the other day, and that's definitely going into my toolbox. We don't oftentimes get computers filling up as we've made the shift to OneDrive and do offline or online only files, but every once in a while we need that. So,
James, take that as a compliment.
I'll take it.
But yeah, so, one of the things I live all day in 365 and Active Directory for customers. 90% of our tickets probably have something to do with one of those. So those were the first kind of PowerShell modules that I got really familiar with, was how to reset account passwords and create new users and all that stuff. So that's at the top of my toolbox. James mentioned it before, but the PowerShell gallery is a great resource. It's a great resource for discovering new functionality. That's how I learned that you can actually adjust Dell BIOS settings and things like that with PowerShell, which stopped me needing to go on site to do things like enabling work from home in the BIOS, enabling any sort of settings that we needed for that. And then, I PowerShell ISE, the integrated shell environment, is loaded onto every computer since Windows 7, every Windows computer. And it offers a lot of tools built in to help you if you're writing PowerShell. And the other item I had there was I've started doing a lot of automation and stuff in networking equipment. So I had to bust out my copy of Network Warrior. It's somewhere on the shelf behind me there. And then the other one I wanted to make mention of that I tried to find the source of it the other day, but I just couldn't. I'm pretty sure it was Adam Bertram. He goes by the name Adam the Automator online. He had written an awesome employee onboarding script that I've used to roll out scripts for our customers to do things like create the account, create any user folders, sync that account up to Office 365, all those sorts of things. And I found his post about it, but I can't find his actual script. So that's one, if anybody's interested in it, they can message me on Facebook or email me to get it. But that was huge for being able to automate the process of onboarding new employees at customers, especially in a standard way, so that we don't have to go back to our wiki and figure out what the procedure is for a specific customer.
Brilliant. And let's talk a little bit about how to automate in Atera, because all of this is just super powerful, super streamlined. Want to walk us through it?
Sure, happy to do that. So as I said, I do hear a lot of questions from our customers, and a lot of people don't know what's actually available within Atera. So I'm going to mention things very quickly, just so you know what's available. If you do want more information, we've got an amazing knowledge base that you can just read through all these amazing things. We've got webinars after every 2 sprints, so every 6 weeks, with all our new features. A lot of this amazing stuff's in there. And we've got a series of short videos on YouTube and in our academy, just going through all of these, so you should check those out. So if you didn't know, we've got command prompt and PowerShell console to all of your managed devices within Atera, which is a great way to just write easy script, run it directly, any command you want to do. It's a great way to manage your devices without having to log in and interrupt the customer or the user. You can just do everything silently in the background, which is a great, powerful tool. We've got the script library, as Dave mentioned. So if you're not feeling confident enough to write your own scripts, you need inspiration, you want to check out what we've got there. As Dave said, at the moment we've got 193 scripts. By next week we should have a whole lot more, and we've got scripts being submitted from our customers, which is amazing. Thank you guys for sharing. So we've got some cool stuff in there. You just have a look, you clone it into your script library, and you can run it on your devices, and you can add them to your automation profiles or your threshold profiles, which is a great way for self-healing, as Dave mentioned. So if you have an alert for your memories exceeded, your CPU is too high, it can just run a script in the background. You don't even have to do anything. It can resolve the alert without you touching it, which I think is great. Besides that, Jake's favorite, our patch management, which is great because you can run that automatically once a week, once a month. I recommend after Patch Tuesday, even though the last patch gave me a bit of problems on my laptop today. I don't know, I heard some more people experience that, so you can always exclude those through Atera. And we've also got third-party patching through Homebrew for Macs, Chocolatey for Windows, which is another great powerful tool, and scheduled reports, which you can get to your email address, sent out to your customers. Great way to keep on track. You can schedule them, you can run them whenever you need them on demand. That's just a little bit of what we've got within Atera. So, I mean, you should use it because it's things that you don't need to be a professional to use. It's there for you. Simple to get started. We've got a lot of information. If you need any help, you can contact us. We'd be happy to walk you through all this.
Really are happy to walk you guys through, because you see Yasmin and her team constantly on the phone helping the Atera tribe. It's really awesome to see and inspiring. They're completely available, so we appreciate all the guidance that you help everybody with. So we want to ask you guys a question. We're going to run a little fun poll. We're not placing any bets, but we will see the results, and it is going to be fun. Which of the following would you like most? And boom, there it is. We've got 3 options, and there's a scripting workshop, advanced training and automation, webinar on how to sell your automation services. Let's see how this goes. See, I only see the poll. Do you guys only see the poll? Sometimes we see the results. That's when it's fun. You see like it racing.
I've only got the poll.
You've also only got the poll. It's a conspiracy. They won't let us see it anymore. That was the fun part. All right. Well, I guess we'll probably be closed very soon.
Let's just make sure. Are you able to answer it? Is everyone seeing it? Oh.
Advanced is the winner. Congratulations to the advanced automation training. You will be, your victory prize is going to have a lot of people attending your training. Speaking of which, there's a lot of questions. We're actually early. We are early. We got a lot of questions. Guys, we're going to have a really long Q&A. I'm going to stop the sharing.
Okay, I can see the results now.
This is fun. Just to share, which of the following would you like most? Script workshop, 39%. Advanced training in automation, 45%. And the lowest is a webinar on how to sell your automation services. So cool. But even so, there's a lot of votes, so we appreciate that. And I'm going.
I'm at the scripting workshop. I'm a bit upset.
50 votes. It was 39%, Yasmin. People are still interested, but there's only one clear winner. That's just how it goes. So let's go to the Q&A. Let's start with Yasmin. Which one would you like to take first?
So I can see Joshua's asking if we can make the PowerShell interface run as admin by default. I will check that. We can take that back to our product team, see if that's available. You can always drop us an email and we can take it up. So if you want to contact us, it's best@atera.com. And everyone wants 2 workshops. They want both.
Yeah, Tim is saying 2. Thanks, Tim.
Tim and Matthew. I like you guys.
Yeah, I'd be in for both those workshops. So.
Just make them not at 2 a.m. That'd be great.
You seem to be doing great at 2 a.m. Gotta say.
So I see a lot of people are asking for that employee onboarding script. I don't know why that blog post got changed. It's not on it anymore. So if anybody wants to email me, I'm happy to send it to them.
Dave, we can post it on Facebook after if you like. So you don't get bombarded with email.
That works too. Yeah, email or Facebook, either way. I will. I'll post it. I posted a simple employee onboarding script this morning for Active Directory.
There was actually someone on the Facebook group earlier asking about patching, and they weren't seeing a lot of success. And I realised something. He mentioned he had like 50% of his endpoints were at home, and a lot of people are going to be having this issue worldwide at the moment, obviously with the pandemic, where PCs aren't getting patched because they're simply not on. So what I've done is I've always broken out my patch schedules. I never do everything at once. It's always a nightmare. And I shared with the guys earlier in the week a story about a client we used to patch manually. And if you want to know about time and money saving, this client, we used to work after hours from 7 p.m. to about 2 a.m. for 5 days to patch all of their servers manually across their server farm. Once automated, the only server we patched manually again was their 4 Exchange servers, and that was it. And even then, that was only for Exchange roll-ups. Everything else was done automatically. So yeah, look, I guess break out your patch profiles. So you might do critical and security one day. You might do update roll-ups once a month. Don't do them on the same days. You know, do it on a Friday night or a Thursday morning, or whatever works. But for people with endpoints at home, it's certainly a problem I'm facing at the moment. Is you need to just communicate to your users that you might cop a reboot during the day, or let's leave all PCs on at 4 p.m. on a Thursday or something like that.
Stan the newbie is here with us. Welcome, Stan. We're happy to have you here. you can catch all of our previous webinars. Everything's recorded on our blog. Go to Atera, and our blog, we've got Dave's amazing free series articles on scripting. We've got our previous webinars recorded. Everything should be.
And Peter asking, is there a PowerShell command to enable Wake on LAN on HP desktops and laptops? Yes. There was another blogger, and honestly, I can't remember the name he goes by, but I'll post that on Facebook as well after this. He created a really nice script for enabling Wake on LAN on, I think it was HP, Lenovo, and Dell systems.
We've also got that in Atera. You can actually do that within the Atera GUI.
Oh, beautiful. I didn't know about that. So you can do it in Atera without even needing a script.
Super good to know. Let's see, Dave. There was another question I saw that in the comments that said you were going to answer. You're an answering machine.
There was like 6 different questions about the onboarding script. Can I? So here's one. Xander asks, "Can I share clone scripts to my colleagues, or do all techs have to clone them by themselves?" No. If you go into like the shared script library and you add them, if you click to clone them to your Atera, they are there for everybody. If you have scripts, like I've got some scripts that aren't in Atera, I load them up into. I have a private repository in GitHub that I can share scripts to coworkers with. Or you can also just share them in, in Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever with other people as well inside the company. But yeah, if you add scripts from the shared script library in Atera, they are there for everybody.
There was also a question earlier about, do you have to install Chocolatey? And Yasmin can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the first time you push software, it installs it. So it's all automated that way.
It's just there
It's
automatically within
packaged.
Atera. You could just use it. It's available within Atera by default on all devices. You can just click on Manage Device. You go to Software Installation. If it's a Mac, it'll be with Homebrew. If it's a Windows device, it'll be with Chocolatey. And then you have access to all the software that's available on the Chocolatey repository. So it's a public repository, and anything that's available through there, you can install through.
All right, we still got questions coming in. Lots of them.
Yeah, so there's actually somebody asking about onboarding Macs. They're wondering if there's a script or automation to, and this is Deanna. Could you set the admin user password and then automate all the installation? So you can. I'm not as familiar with Mac scripting, although I've got plenty of years as Linux admin. But yeah, there are definitely ways inside of Mac's terminal that you can download a file like the Atera. I think it comes in a DMG. You then unpack that, install the package file that's in that DMG. And setting an admin password, I think the command is PASSWD. That is at least what it is on Linux. But yeah, so you can do all of that without user involvement, but that means that you'll have to be on the Mac if the Atera agent isn't installed yet.
We've got a question about setting up new workstations with different tools and software. The easiest way would be to install the Atera agent, and then you can install the software easily with Chocolatey or Homebrew. It's like a Windows device, so Chocolatey. And we will also be adding some more features soon, which will be creating batch software installation to install new devices. You can sort of an image with software that you want to be there, and you can defaultly install that on a new device. So that should be coming soon, but you can do that right now as well.
Yeah, that was one we did for a couple of our customers where they're non-domain. We use Azure AD for them, and we have the process for setting up new workstations is install the Atera agent, which now I do with the PS Atera PowerShell module I wrote, has a command for it. And after that, we just go in and we run an automation profile that takes care of setting up, all the software reader, Chrome or the new Edge, and then also goes in and actually installs that they have HP printers, and it's easy enough to set up a printer as well. So basically does the entire setup, and all they have to do then is go and log in.
I think that's gold for some of our listeners here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the great thing about that is outside of installing the printer, all of it is done just with the Atera GUI now. I had to go back through once you guys launched the Chocolatey integration and change all that around. So I love when my scripts get smaller and smaller because it gets to be more point and click.
That's great. We also recently introduced the file transfer feature, which is also a great way to copy files, edit, modify, whatever you need to do on a device, and you can do that silently. So I think the less time you take to remotely connect to your customers' devices, the better. You don't interrupt them, it takes you less time. So those are great tools that you can just use that are there. There's a question here about version updates. So we actually have some scripts in our shared script library to update to 1909 to 2004. You can just run those scripts. You can add them to your automation profiles. One that update automatically, so they're available there. You can just search 1909 or 2004 and you'll see them there. So
I also think, Yasmin, I had a PC which I hadn't seen in a while. It showed back up in Atera, and it was running 1909, and I was actually just able to install it from the device management. Just went into patch management, went what's missing, and I pushed everything to it, and it did the full upgrade straight through there. So the reports should also show that up as well now, which is brilliant. I know we had issues in the past with those upgrades. So I'm not sure if Microsoft will change something. Maybe it's just the geniuses at Atera who have fixed it up.
So yeah, Microsoft did change something that the updates would come in from a different API from the patches. So we had the patches coming through the API within the patch management profiles, and then the updates weren't coming in. That might have been fixed, but if not, we do have the script. I need to check in on that. I know we did talk about that with our product team. So that should also be available through the automation profile. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, definitely works. It's brilliant.
And Thorsten is asking for a sample for an Atera newbie. So you can just drop me an email later. We've got a lot of information to share with you. And I do recommend joining our walkthrough webinar, which we've got a lot of different dates for that. We've got it a few times every week. So that's a full demo of the platform. So if anyone here is new, interested in Atera, that's going to be a great place to start.
Yeah, and I saw Michael was asking the similar step-by-step list.
Saw that.
Just to clarify your email, it's Yasmin, YASMIN at Atera?
Yeah, but it would be better to send it to success at Atera.
Good to know. Just
Because,
to clarify.
yeah, each account has got their dedicated account manager, and then if the email gets sent there, we can direct it to the right person. So if you send it to me, I'd have to direct it to the right person, so better you go straight there. We're always available. We're happy to help with any question. We've also got an amazing support team. They're available through live chat, Monday to Friday, just about 24 hours a day. So EU and US business hours. They're also available through live ticket. Sorry, said that. Through ticket or email, also on the weekends. So they're the best way to get technical support fast. If you have any sales questions, you want more information on the product, feature questions, feature requests, feedback, we're always happy to hear that. reach out to us. We are also active in the Facebook group, as mentioned. It's a great community, so if you're not in there, please join. It's amazing. But it's not a support group on Facebook. Someone asked that question and I replied, it's not a support group. Our support team's not there, so the best way would be live chat.
Yeah, and so Yasmin, I saw a lot of people I think were kind of looking for clarification. So the wake on LAN in Atera, can you actually turn it on from Atera, or is it just that you can actually turn on a system using wake on LAN from Atera?
Yeah, so I saw that. I replied, I typed an answer. Let's specify that. You do need to set it on the BIOS and then enable it with the BIOS, which your script would do, and then you can set up another agent within Atera to actually perform the wake on LAN. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I'll post that script in the group. It's a Cyber Drain. I can't remember the guy's actual name, but he had written a blog post about it, along with actually a ton of great posts in his blog about monitoring with PowerShell. He does everything from DHCP, Active Directory, all those sorts of things. So yeah, that's a lot of people are asking for kind of how do I start. Besides the GUI tools, definitely just go and check out some blogs. There's a lot of really great writers out there. All of us, I include myself, have spent a lot of time in the open source community. Our whole thing is about not hoarding information because it just doesn't do anything. There we go. Somebody posted the link to that post. So yeah, it's post the questions on Facebook, check out the blogs that are out there, and there's a lot of really great resources to tap into.
Michael is asking, is it safe to force an upgrade to 2004?
It's a can of worms, is it? I think they fixed most of the problems, or most of the big ones. I know I inadvertently upgraded everyone, and we had a lot of problems with some of the driver issues that it had. But for the last few weeks, it's been a lot better. I would say we're almost down to 0 issues. But hey,
this one doesn't.
We can never say we have 0 issues, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in rolling out to some but not all at a time, especially major updates, things like that. So yeah, I run my computers are fully up to date all the time pretty much. I don't do that with customers. I let them run probably about a month behind in terms of major updates. I roll out, so I know, James, you do this as well. I have, a couple different automation profiles where I roll out only critical and security updates, rapidly. And then other feature updates and things like that, we don't roll those out immediately. We let other people test them and wait until we hear what breaks. Because I don't need the calls when print queues break, or, one of the recent ones was Outlook was completely broken. That update went out, and I think they fixed it within a day, but I had an entire client that got that update. So
I've got no search at the moment. I can't search in my Windows. Winky, no search. I've managed to get the search bar back on there, but I can't type anything. So yeah. I could just manually look for what I'm looking for. Yeah.
It's just back to Windows XP.
Yeah. Yay.
Guys, let's take 2-3 more questions, then it'll be the top of the hour. We could probably go on for another hour. There's a lot of questions, a lot of information that people are looking for answers on automation. What's the next question you guys would like to answer? There's only a few left.
So I saw one person was asking about getting a ticket when new devices are added to a customer. I do know that there's an alert that pops up in Atera in like that top right corner alert panel when a new device is added. But one of the things I've started doing, and I wrote a script for this last week, was automating the process of shifting tickets from pending to open, and it could theoretically do something similar to that. but to my
But
knowledge,
Dave, you don't need to write a script. We've got ticket automation rules in Atera.
you can do it when a new device is added as well now.
I think
I've
so.
never needed to.
Need to look into that. But I mean, we've got ticket automation rule.
Yep.
And you can just set different automation rules, changing ticket statuses, sending out automatic replies to your customers. I mean, that it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you love to write scripts.
And that's another whole automation area that we haven't even touched on is ticket automation. You know, Atera does have a lot of powerful pieces in it. You know, we have it where it automatically sends responses on tickets to the technicians and sends emails to the customers, sending the survey out. But also, you know, having it where if a customer responds to a ticket, it kicks it from pending to back to open and things like that. Or having it moved back from resolved back to open. You know, so there's a whole nother, you know, point and click area that you can automate a lot of your processes.
I see John said that he's not seeing the shared script library. John, there are a lot of scripts there. I don't know what's wrong. Try reaching out to the team via live chat. They're available now. I'm sure they'll help you sort that out.
All right, let's take one more question, and then we're going to have to say goodbye to everybody.
Need to pick a good one.
What?
We need to pick a good one.
Yeah. Pressure's on.
Dave, James, up to you guys.
Oh gosh.
Amazing.
Some easy ones here. We could cut off. We can get a few through.
I mean, I know that this might not be the last question, but people asking, is there another forum? You know, I'm on Reddit all day, and I keep track of the Atera subreddit. So I get that people don't like Facebook.
Brendan's posted any future update to add computer name search on the device's search bar. I'm not sure if he means at the top there, where you can search for the, you just got to click additional information, I believe, and it now saves it. It never used to, which I love, because I actually search by username, not by computer name. I'm not sure if that's what Brendan means, or if he means within the actual device's view, where it lists them all, possibly.
And also there, we've got advanced filters where you can add different custom fields you want to search. The ticket automation rules are live. If you go to your admin page, they should be under there, and we've got a lot of information about that in our knowledge base. I know a lot of people haven't used our knowledge base, so it's under Atera support, and we've got articles about everything there.
Yeah, I always have to remember that, you know, use that question mark icons at the bottom of every page in Atera to jump into support or jump into chat with the support team, things like that.
Yeah, use it. We're him.
And then somebody was asking about pushing out the latest PowerShell version. You can actually do that with Chocolatey. So Joseph asked about that. So PowerShell versions are pushed as part of the Windows management framework. So the latest production version, 5.1, is part of WMF 5.1. So you can push that out with Chocolatey without needing a script at all.
Brilliant. Guys, I think we're going to have to say thank you, goodbye. I mean, this could go on. It's cool because there's still over like 150, 45 people still on asking questions, still coming in. We appreciate it. But Dave, James, any last words before we bid adieu?
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, go check out the blog posts on the Atera blog. If anybody does have questions and wants to email me, feel free. I've posted my email in a couple of the answers, or just reach out to me on Facebook or Reddit. I'm pretty regularly in the Facebook group, so.
And look, I guess from me, if you're not automating, get automating. It's the best thing you can do for your business. It frees you up. It gives you so much more time to do the important things. You'll be skilling up your level 1 techs. They'll be your level 2s in no time because they're not doing the mundane day-to-day tasks, which they're currently doing if you're not automating, So get amongst it. Hit up Dave. He's a scripting guru. He's got all the answers. You just got to ask him.
There's so many more smarter than me.
Humble man, humble man. Yasmin, last words.
I'm just trying to type answers to some more questions. I want to help everyone. Guys, all the information's in our knowledge base. If you need anything else, either live chat support, email us, support@atera.com or success@atera.com. We want you guys to make the most out of your business and automate. James and Dave, it was amazing speaking to you. As always, thank you very much. Thank you, Ari, and it was great.
Guys, thanks so much. Thanks to everybody from all over the world who joined. Yasmin, thank you. Dave, thank you. James, thank you. 2 a.m. Dave, give our best to your children. And Yasmin, until next time. Guys, thank you so much.